Hi, I'm Wells Hanley, and welcome to I Wrote This Song For You, a podcast where I share songs I wrote for people I know, or for people I don't know. The truth is, I'll write a song for anyone who evokes a feeling in me that I have no way of responding to other than to write a song for them. So let's meet today's guest and hear their song. I'm here today with my good friend Tanara. About a year ago, we were spending time together and we were discussing a major event that had just happened in Tanara's life, which was the death of her mother. We spoke about all different aspects of their relationship, but in the center of that conversation was the fact that for the 10 years leading up to her mom's death, Tanara had been her mom's caregiver. She was expressing to me that while she was grieving, there was also a part of her that was feeling excited to be entering a time full of expansion, a time of possibility, and a time that's defined by the question, what's next? As she was talking about all of this, a song sprang up in me, and along with it, I was seeing a scene play out, like in a daydream. In the scene, I saw Tanara as a young girl of about 9 or 10 years, and she was on the beach of a small island where I sensed that she had lived her entire life. She was kneeling in the sand and was carving a boat out of a large fallen tree with a kind of determination that would be unusual for a child of that age. Her ancestors were standing around her, cheering her on as she prepared this new vessel that she would eventually use to leave the island for good. I've come to feel that this song rose up in me out of my desire to help Tanara embrace the part of her that felt excited, the part of her that felt like she had a new lease on life, even in the face of her grief around losing her mom. I'll be sharing that song with her and with you at the end of today's episode. So, Tanara, I wonder if you could talk a bit about your relationship with your mom, and in particular, can you paint a picture, as you did for me that day, of some of the complexity that was part of that relationship?
My mom and I were very close. We were a unit. And from an early age, all she envisioned was to be a mom. We would go on adventures. We didn't really have any money. But we would drive to the Shenandoah with these empty water jugs and we'd collect spring water and drive back. She'd take me to the airport and she'd pack sandwiches and chips or something, and we'd watch the planes take off. And so I felt deep love for my mother and from my mother. And yet, as I got older and older, I think in my 20s and 30s and 40s, I wanted to explore the world and be in the world more fully in a way that caused her great discomfort. That in her mind, I think she was thinking, why can't you just stay here? Why can't you just be close enough? Explore a little, but be close enough so that I can touch you, so that I can help you, so that I can rescue you. And it was comforting, and it was also at times suffocating.
There was some point in your development where you feel like, looking back now, a mother would naturally start to let go, and that for whatever reason that wasn't happening for her or for you.
I have an image of a mama bird and a baby bird in a nest, and the baby bird is, wanting to fly off, and mama bird's like, not yet, or no, but it's really nice and warm and cozy here. You sure you want to go out there?
Right, even past when it's the natural time for the bird to fly.
Yeah, this nest is about to break because you're two now almost like adult birds in this nest.
Yeah.
Here I sit staring out at the sea where I've longed to sail. I feel inside that it's finally time to begin. I felt safe beneath her shade, but now I'm not afraid of the wild wind.
In her mind, it is a unsafe world out there. And deep down, I know she can take care of herself. What about all these dangerous people out there? What about all these hidden dangers? Now, I'm in my 40s. My mother would call me and I'd be like, I'm out. So, do you know it's 10 o'clock at night?
In your 40s?
40s and probably at 50.
Oh, wow.
Or, well, who's going to be there? And I said, Mom, you know I'm an adult person, right? Like, I'm, let's say, 45. And she said, I don't care if you're 85 and I'm 107 or whatever it is. Like, I don't care. I'm still going to want to know that you're safe. And we would laugh at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, but also, you know, when you think of the image of these two adult birds and one of them's never flown, that's a complicated image. It reminds me of the fairy tale Rapunzel in a way. You know, Rapunzel's in the tower with her mother, seems to be her mother, but that mother figure is telling her, I'm keeping you in this tower because the world is so dangerous. And you must never leave this tower. I'll leave the tower to go and get stuff and bring it back to you, but you must never leave.
Yeah.
And it's because I love you so much that I can't stand the thought of you getting hurt. I think that every mother's up against this. That moment when it's time for the bird to fly the nest, and I think it's intensely painful for a lot of parents. And I can only imagine it. I know when my son goes to college, it's going to be hard to wonder if he's internalized all the things that I've tried to instill in him, and is he being safe? You know, is he doing stupid stuff? You know, we all do stupid stuff when we're growing up to one degree or another. I guess what I'm saying is I can understand why she could make that mistake.
I said to her once, I said, Mom, you have so much to offer outside of being a mother, and you have a life to live. And she just lost it. Like, I'm not going to abandon you. I'm always going to be here for you. She sacrificed a great deal for me. There were times she didn't eat so that I could eat. She didn't have warm winter clothes so that I could have clothes. She never put me on a guilt trip. But I had a sense of all that she sacrificed to give me a good launching pad. And I felt like, okay, it's time now. I was about to turn 40. Like, it's time for me to launch. I thought about adopting a kid. And then when she got sick, 6 months later, I said, it's not possible. I can't take care of her and take care of a kid. When I donated my kidney to my mom, I said, I feel like we're cutting the cord. And she said, I feel it too. That was in April. By November, she had developed this brain infection. And so from then on, you know, the cord got reconnected or reintroduced.
And was that then the beginning of your taking care of her for 10 years?
Yeah.
At some point during her illness, she must have understood that she was not going to be able to take care of you forever.
There was this, I don't know if I would call it a fantasy or a hope that there would be a good man who would provide materially, who would have my back, who would, do those those stereotypically male things. Even until she died, that was her desires, that I meet somebody who could take care of me. So as the priest came over to give her last rites, it hit me of like, oh, this is it. Like, this is happening. And I started to cry, and then she started to cry. And I asked her again if she was afraid, and she said, no, I just don't want to leave you alone. It was inconceivable that I could keep myself safe and that I could have love, even if it wasn't romantic love, that love could also support and sustain me, as opposed to a prince showing up and taking me off and I live happily. Well, I don't even know if we live happily ever after. All my material needs would be taken care of.
And yet you're someone who has worked and like provided for yourself for as long as I've known you.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of love in my life, and I know that's true. And it wouldn't be so if she hadn't have helped me along. But my work here now is done. I've stepped into the sun, and I'm feeling strong.
There's still a messages I'm working to undo around being safe, or that being full in the world means being unsafe. Even as I go off and go to, someplace in another part of the world by myself, or go whitewater rafting or parasailing, like these things that I risk and try. And, there's this interject about being safe. Don't make waves, be nice. That'll keep you safe. So a man will keep you safe, keeping yourself, she didn't say this and I don't think she meant it, but almost keep yourself small and it'll keep you safe.
I'm curious, if you were to indulge in being big, do you have a sense of what that would look like?
I think so. I think I'm getting there. Like my motto would be like, what the hell? Why not? Let's give it a try. I don't know, or this terrifies me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. That on my gravestone, that my epitaph says she was a risk taker, a daredevil. The sky is the limit. She was courageous. Mm-hmm. And that her life, the life that I have from 51 on to the day that I die, looks so different than anything that has come before. I could move to the Kalahari and do research on, I don't know, iguanas and like, whatever. Or I'm in Patagonia studying, an ancient language, just that I achieve anything bigger than my mind right now could even imagine.
Part of what I hear in that is that if you have an impulse to want to do something, that it won't be blocked by fear. That you want to experience what it's like to not be afraid.
Yeah. What I'm sitting with is what is possible as opposed to just what could go wrong. And that I am guided internally, that my North Star is inside of me. I remember reading a book about intuition. And when the way she framed intuition, it just blew my mind, that I thought there was something inside of me that noticed things, but that intuition is ancient. It's me and is bigger than me. And it has taken all the learning from my ancestors, and for me not to pay attention is dishonoring that. Well, and as you know, the vision that I had was that you were a little girl on a beach and that you were carving a boat out of a tree. With all my ancestors around me. With your ancestors around you, and their message to you is go. Yeah. Like build the boat and get in it and go. Yeah. And it's so interesting to me that what you're saying is you're connecting your own intuition
to the voices of the ancestors, and your intuition is saying go. It's not clear about where to go, but where you go is outside of the small world of fear about what's out there.
Yeah.
You have to get off that little island.
Yes. We talked about death over the years, and one thing, the sticking point was her plot. She bought 2 plots. She was like, I want you to be buried with me. And I'm like, Mom, I just want to be cremated. And we would go back and forth. And then, the day before she died, I thought she was asleep. And she just opened her eyes. She said, sell the plot.
Wow.
Go.
She was letting go.
Yeah.
She was able to let go.
Yeah. And so when you talk about seeing this image of building a boat, I had this image of my mom as one of the ancestors saying, go, go, go. You are free. Go.
So I'm building a boat. I'm taking it far away from here. I'm building a boat. I'll be heading so far beyond my fear. And I'll sail my way to a better world and a better life someday. Let the wind and sea come and carry me on my way.
And so now I am 51, no children, but Joyce, no siblings, no man. What is my role? For 10, 11 years, physically, it was to be her caregiver. Before that, an emotional caregiver. Taking care of her took up so much time and space in my life. And now what? Most of my life, half of my life was about this connection, her connection to me. Who or what am I now? I asked her, you are somebody outside of me, and now I have to figure out who I am outside of her. I'm so grateful that we had the week that we had. We talked openly about her death, about what she wanted. I could ask her anything. I helped her transition, and I feel really good about that. And I had to say her journey has ended, but mine continues. I think about the hero's journey, and that there's always something that breaks through. The princess is always gonna prick the finger. I think Rapunzel, some guy hears her singing or sees her hair. Yeah. That there's always gonna be something that breaks through, and it's no, you can't hide. You can't hide away. And so I want to answer the call. I don't want to be on my deathbed thinking what could have been. I want to have a full life while I'm here.
Tanara, I wrote this song for you.
She's building a boat. She's taking it far away from here. Here I sit staring out at a sea where I've longed to sail. I feel inside that it's finally time to begin. Felt safe beneath her shade, but now I'm not afraid of the wild wind. standing on my own, I'm learning to trust myself. And the wiser ones inside who help me to grow.
We're standing around you.
So I'll answer to the call. It's now or not at all. So here I go. It's time to go. So I'm building a boat.
She's building a boat.
I'm taking it far away from here. I'm building a boat. I'll be heading so far beyond my fear, and I'll sail my way to a better world and a better life someday. Let the wind and sea come and carry me on my way.
She's building a boat. She's sailing away.
I've seen a lot of love in my life, and I know that's true. And it wouldn't be so if she hadn't have held me along.
You waited so long for
But my work here now is done. I've stepped into the sun, and I'm feeling strong. I know where I belong, and it won't be long. 'Cause I'm building a boat. I'm taking it far away from here. I'm building a boat. I'll be heading so far beyond my fear, and I'll sail my way to a better world and a better life someday. Let the wind and sea come and carry me, come what may. I'll be on my way. I'm on my way.
She's building a boat.
I'm building
It's
a
going to carry her away.
boat.
She's building a boat.
I'm building
She's going
a
to see a brighter day.
And I'll sail my way to a better world and a better life someday. As I turn the page, let the storm clouds rage. I won't stray. I'll be on my way. I'm building a boat. Gonna sail away.
She's building a boat. She's sailing away.
I'm sailing away.
That's amazing. I'm like, it's just like it's like jazzy, but also sounds like a Broadway, like a Broadway song. That was really beautiful, and I'm like, wow, I have a song.
You have a song.
Somebody was inspired to write a song because it's something I said. It's like amazing. That is it. That's a beautiful song.
You've been listening to I Wrote This Song For You. It's clear when a song rises up in me that it's meant to be given away as a gift. And sharing these conversations and songs with you is work that I believe in and am committed to continuing. But I need your help to keep it going. There are considerable costs involved in hiring guest musicians and singers, and in producing and editing each episode. For as little as $5 a month, you can join the I Wrote This Song For You community on Patreon, where you'll have access to exclusive content and other rewards. Simply click the link Be a Patron, either in the show notes of this episode or on my website, iwrotethissongforyou.com. You'll be redirected to Patreon, which is a secure site where people like you who believe in projects like mine can lend your support. Today's song, I'm Building a Boat, was written and performed by me, Wells Hanley, and was sung by Jessica Fox. We were joined by DJ Harrison on drums, Andrew Randazzo on bass, and Makeda, McCreary, and Frankie James on backing vocals. To submit your story to be considered for a future episode, simply fill out the form on the contact page of my website at iwrotethissongforyou.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.